What the heck is happening with VHS? How did a game go from being Dead by Daylight's next big rival to literally, as of an hour ago, having 72 people playing the game? You may think that this is a classic case of content creators overhyping a game to oblivion, especially a game in the 4v1 scene where Dead by Daylight is king. But trust me that the story of how VHS went from this to this is way more tragic than you could ever imagine. And it all started back in August of 2021 when VHS tweeted out their reveal trailer. And initially, it was received really well. People were super excited for the 80s vibe with synthwave touches. It felt like Stranger Things, the monster gameplay, werewolves in it. They were extremely hyped for the trailer, and that hype was real. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around in 2021, VHS had already passed 50,000 Steam wishlists and had climbed to the top 30 of popular upcoming games. So you'd think that VHS's marketing budget and strategy was pretty good, right? So we're going to do a quiz, all right? How much did VHS spend on marketing? Was it A, $10,000? Was it B, $100,000? Or was it C, $1 million? Remember, they are Canadian. Answer now. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Psych! The answer was $0. VHS spent a whopping $0 on marketing, which I guess did not matter, right? Because content creators picked up the game and were extremely hyped for it, making videos on VHS before it was even released to be able to be played, gaining hundreds of thousands of views. And I think it's important that I teach you guys a little lesson on influencer marketing, because this is like the #1 way that publishers currently get games in front of audiences is by working with influencers. CPM is an important term in this. It essentially stands for cost per mil. It's the price companies will pay for every 1,000 views a video receives. For a YouTube integration, what you do is you take the average views over 5 videos, and then you multiply it by an industry standard CPM for gaming YouTube videos, which for gaming videos is $20. So if someone averages 200,000 views per video, then their videos are worth about $4,000 US. And that's just gaming videos. In finance, it's literally 10 times that, by the way. So if you look at all the videos previously, right? This is how much value each one of these videos brought to VHS. On screen is literally $33,500 worth of value from these content creators who love the game and made videos out of the goodness of their heart. But that doesn't even take into account Twitch streamers, right? And it's different on Twitch, right? So what you do is you take the average viewership. One VHS streamer averaged 2,323 viewers. This streamer streamed VHS for 277 hours. That's a total of $424,000, and that's on the low end. That's using a calculator for indie games. If this was a high-end company or client, you could charge upwards of $772,000. And I think it's important to declare that, you know, people don't get paid for how much they stream the game. On Twitch, it would be like 60 to 120 minutes of playing the game, and you charge for that. On YouTube, it's like a 10-minute dedicated video. So it's fair to say VHS received millions of dollars worth of free organic influencer marketing. But they actually had something even more valuable. They had this, the average Dead by Daylight fan in 2021. They were not happy because in 2021, Dead by Daylight was having the largest exodus of players the game had ever seen. Stuff like Resident Evil releasing in the buggiest state, not even being able to play RPD for months. Skill-based matchmaking released in September of 2021, and people hated it. Michaela, how can we forget how a strong circle of healing was and behavior worked with Boss Protocol to turn Pinhead into an NFT wearing sunglasses. People were not happy with Dead by Daylight with behavior, and they were leaving the game fast. And all of a sudden, when players started leaving, VHS announced that it was coming out, and they weren't afraid to take shots at behavior either. They said they're making VHS because they love classic monsters, horror, and the 4v1 genre. They had no interest in NFTs. They wanted to make something special. The Dead by Daylight fans had found a brand new shiny toy to play with, and it was VHS. So basically, VHS had the perfect recipe to succeed. They had lots of hype. They had a disenfranchised Dead by Daylight player base and excited content creators. So What did they do? They launched a surprise closed beta, and that was the first of the mistakes. A surprise closed beta, just out of the blue randomly. Behavior reacted to it immediately. They launched a blood hunt event because they were worried about people going to the closed beta, but this wasn't even announced. There was no lead up. They just said tomorrow closed beta coming, and it didn't go well for them. Initially, people couldn't even play the game for 24 hours. It took 24 hours for people to get their keys after the closed beta was meant to start. But people were excited for the game, and VHS started off strong, peaking at 11,000 viewers on Twitch when the closed beta started. But unfortunately for them, what started was a cycle of the game broke, servers broke. They fixed the bugs, they launched new keys, which then broke the game more, so they had to go into maintenance. They fixed that, and then they gave more keys out. It did a job of increasing hype a little bit. The game peaking at 17,000 viewers in December, up from 11,000. But the beta had lots of problems, and people wanted to know where their keys were. And then at the peak of all of this, Christmas rolled around, and the Hellbent team took a break from December 24th to January 3rd, which makes sense. Of course, you're going to give your employees a Christmas break. But remember that average Dead by Daylight fan from before? Well, the average VHS fan was starting to look a little bit like them, because all they wanted was a key to get into the Beyond and start playing VHS, and they were losing interest in the game. The player base that watched VHS on Twitch dropped massively from December to January. They killed their own hype, and they had to work really hard to get people back interested in the game. They released 7 key waves in a month between January and February to try and get people back into VHS and excited for the game, and it worked a little bit. They jumped the viewership up to 5.4 thousand, but then they made their second big mistake. They got DDoS attacked. In February 15th, the game had lots of issues. On the 16th, they put the game into maintenance mode, and the following day, they announced to the community that they suffered a string of attacks that continued until they pulled VHS offline. The attacks caused login issues, invisible lobbies, and games that would not start. And to be clear, the attack didn't access any of the internal systems. No, this was a DDoS attack, which actually I think is a good time to mention the fact that this video is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN is excellent for gamers because it can stop DDoS attacks, by the way. In Dead by Daylight right now, there's an IP leak which allows people to get access to your IP address and then DDoS you through that. So to protect yourself against that, you go to nordvpn.com/DOWSEY, you click Get Deal, you then launch NordVPN, and you scroll down to the closest server, you click it, and now you can't be DDoS attacked. It's that simple. NordVPN protects you. Of course, you can use this to region shift in Dead by Daylight if you want to, or if you want to watch The Office, but it's not available in your region, just boot up NordVPN, go to a server like the UK that has The Office available on it, connect to that server, and once you're connected, you can then watch The Office on Netflix. Use NordVPN on all your devices, laptop, desktop, iPhone, Android, your tablets. And of course, NordVPN is actually the fastest VPN as well. So I'll prove that right now. I pay for 400 by 400 megabits per second fiber internet. I'm connected to NordVPN right now, and I'm getting exactly what I pay for my fiber. Yeah, pretty damn fast internet speeds via NordVPN. So guys, if you would like to, you can save big, get 4 months for free with NordVPN's biggest sale this year. Get the exclusive deal at nordvpn.com/DOWSEY, and you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you so much to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into the video. NordVPN could have protected VHS from getting DDoSed. Who knows? But now that VHS has been DDoSed, VHS goes offline. Only for a week, actually, but they didn't really have an ETA on when it would come up. Sorry, I said a week. I meant 2 weeks. VHS went down. Still no confirmed ETA, but they're making significant improvements to the security of the game. Sorry, 3 weeks VHS was down for, but they didn't have an update on week. Sorry, okay. It was actually 4 weeks that VHS was down, and by week 4 they decided to actually give us some idea of what was happening. Basically, they had to fix the security. They wanted to take an in-depth look of their backend. What they want to do by the end of this week is enter a lockdown phase, right? And that leads us into mistake number 4, which is VHS didn't set expectations correctly. By weeks 5 and 6, VHS was still offline, and they missed their lockdown phase goal. In week 7, they hosted a Q&A where they actually didn't set any date expectations whatsoever, but they did tell us that VHS, when it does come out of maintenance, continue in closed beta. By week 8, they finally entered the lockdown phase they said they would enter 4 weeks ago. And they also let us know that the closed beta would come back on Steam. Week 10, they kind of apologized that the game was offline, and they said that this is their first time doing live ops in a multiplayer game, that they didn't want to provide an ETA because if they got it wrong, then people would be disappointed. And if they crunched hard to push it, then they would release a buggy project. So they wanted to build trust and rapport with their community. But they didn't set anyone's expectations at all. There was a period between February 16th when VHS got taken offline to May 28th when VHS finally came back up and launched its closed beta, resulting in 3.5 months of the game not only being offline, but VHS's audience excitement, the people who want to play the game, not having any expectations met. And there was a real risk at this point that the average VHS fan was going to start looking like this. They weren't going to exist anymore. Which leads us to our next mistake. Mistake number 5, VHS rebranded to Video Horror Society. Now, this is an unfortunate thing because they wanted to call themselves VHS globally, but they couldn't get the trademark for it, so they had to rebrand their name to Video Horror Society. It's a similar name, right? VHS, Video Horror Society, but the problem was people didn't make the connection. I remember when I streamed VHS, the second closed beta, and it was called Video Horror Society, and people were like, oh, what game is this? When's VHS coming back? People just didn't connect the dots. Rebrands are really bad for companies. They often result in brand recognition going through the floor and people not understanding who your game is, and this hurt any hype the game had because they just didn't know it was the same game. And also, mistake number 6 was that they launched a closed beta again. And not only did they launch closed beta number 2, they launched it and they didn't even give people access to it immediately. It took 7 days for anyone who had closed beta to get access to closed beta number 2. The progress from the previous closed beta was completely removed. You had to start again. And initially, they said that no one else would get access to the closed beta, only the people who had access before. Everyone else had to wait for early access. But to be fair to them, they did roll that back. They did start letting people into the closed beta. And Twitch viewer numbers, well, basically went from 5.4 thousand in February to 5.2 thousand in May. I guess up to 6,000 in June. They kind of were bringing it back, but that is a massive period where the game was offline and out of mind. Leading to mistake number 7, in June, the VHS Discord server got hacked. On June 6th, VHS Discord server got compromised. I believe what happened was Hellbent CEO's account got compromised. They got access to his Discord. They got access to his social media and basically took over Hellbent's social media and then started spamming this link here to a program called starshooter.exe. Anyone who downloaded this lost control of their Discord server and accounts. Wait, NordVPN, we've already done the integration. I know that you can protect against this, but come on, dude, all right? Get away. Okay, the Discord server, it took 1 day to be removed from Discord entirely. It meant that people were losing access to their Dis accounts, losing faith in Hellbent. Thankfully, 3 days later, Discord brought the server back up, but by that point, a lot of damage had been done, which led to mistake number 8. The early access announcement, well, this is it. It looked like this on Discord as well. And in the announcement itself, of course, they posted an ETA, a date when the early access would start, right? No, actually, they didn't. There was no date when the early access would launch. And actually, if you go to their Discord server right now, you can see the first post is the announcement that early access is ready. And the second announcement is that early access is now live. No lead up whatsoever. And even worse, the average DBD fan was now looking like this. They were really happy. Behavior by this point in July was starting to listen to the community. Dead by Daylight's Steam charts were going up through the roof, the biggest revival the game had ever seen. Dead by Daylight fans had found a new shiny toy. Dead by Daylight. But thankfully, for VHS, there were 2 heroes on Twitch that could potentially bring the game back from the dead. Soda Poppin' and Lyric found VHS and played VHS on stream.
Have you played the Video Horror Society yet? Mixed reviews July 18. Oh, it's like DBD? Okay. Oh, God. What the fuck is that walk? What the fuck?
So is it DBD plus Overwatch? Wait, you might be right. Dude, what the fuck?
Soda Popping for an hour. He played 1 game of Teen.
We won? Wait, what?
One game of Monster before saying, fuck this, logged out, did something else.
Okay, I didn't know I'd get one shot. What the fuck? What do I do? Oh, hey, he's here. Oh my god. Let me alt F4. Fuck this.
No, it's okay.
Nope.
They need like 20 more minutes or something like that.
I just alt F4.
Lyric played the game for 4 hours to 21,000 viewers, and obviously VHS's Twitch numbers skyrocketed up to 51.5 thousand peak viewers in July. Whoa. But it didn't really reflect an increase in player base when the game came early access, because this is when VHS made its 9th mistake. The new player experience was bad. VHS was just too hard for new players, and people had been complaining about it for a long time. Stuff like Monster is underpowered, or actually Monster is just unfun. The problem was that it was hard to play Monster. It was unfun to play Monster. New players were struggling, and there was a lack of a proper in-game tutorial. And can you believe this problem? Teen was actually really fun. That was a massive problem because monster queues, well, they were 30 seconds long, maybe even less, but teen queues became 15 minutes because everybody wanted to play teen because of how unfun Monster was. And I guess VHS, after months of closed beta and really it got split up by the DDoS attacks, they announced that they understood that the new play experience, the balanced queue times were an issue. But it took them literally from June 22nd until September the 1st to fix this. Over a month to make significant changes to the game. By the time these significant changes had came to the game, this was the Steam charts for VHS. It was too late. Which leads me to mistake number 10. VHS's marketing, or therefore lack of it. Remember, $0 marketing budget. If VHS was to bring the game back from the dead, they would have to increase their marketing budget significantly. But I scoured the internet, and the only advert I could find for VHS was this one here when they released Deathwire, the new character in VHS from Intel, and it didn't really perform that good either, unfortunately, for VHS. The game's Twitch viewer numbers dropped from 51.5 thousand to 8.3 in August, and then up to double 16,000. But actually, I have a little bit of a confession to make. I'm sorry. I've kind of been misrepresenting the Twitch numbers because this is actually peak Twitch numbers. This is the average Twitch numbers for VHS. The game never peaked higher than 1,400 average Twitch viewers. The game kind of fell off on Twitch. So why did VHS fail? Well, because they surprised closed beta. They got DDoS Attack. They went offline for 3 months. They didn't manage their expectations. They rebranded to Video Horror Society. They had a second closed beta. Their server got hacked. The early access announcement. VHS was too hard for new players, and they didn't really market the game. And that's not even mentioning the fact that the game is still not out on console. It's really unfortunate, but VHS had a lot of potential. I think genuinely, if things went well back at the end of 2021 and they launched their game well, so about the 3.5 months of downtime, VHS could have been a genuine competitor for Dead by Daylight. But nowadays, we'll never really know what VHS could have been. So can they revive it then, DOWSEY? Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? The game is good, but they don't have the marketing budget to push it out. And they've already hurt their player base in so many ways. From the DDoS attack, which made the game go offline, people felt cheated because no expectations were set, to the Discord hacks where people lost their Discord accounts due to Hellbent security not being protected, to the fact that the game took so long to change the balance of both roles and fix the queues. Obviously, they've got through the worst parts of their game development journey, but can they repair the relationship they have with their community who once was extremely excited for the game and get the game out in front of lots of people again? That's a hard task. Obviously, it's possible because we've seen Cyberpunk do it in the past. Literally, Cyberpunk right now is having one of the biggest revivals a game has ever seen. So it's possible. If people were excited enough for a game, then yeah, you can bring it back. But Cyberpunk also has a massive budget and VHS doesn't. So who knows, man? Thanks for attending my TED Talk.